It says here, Battle Hub matches fight against other players using battleground characters or spectate matches between other players. Cabinets are placed back to back and a match will begin where there are players sat on both sides. Now there is a battle tutorial, so let's try that. We are on the Xbox pad, so if I am going to be hitting on the computer, it would be T. On the Xbox, it would be Y.
We currently have a player on a winning streak.
Sure you get. Sure you get. Sure you get.
On PlayStation, it would be, I believe, triangle, so let's try that. Okay. It says the essence of fighting, the basics. It's time to learn what it takes to be a fighter. Okay. So tell me, do you have experience fighting? We're just going to hit no for now. Classic type, the 6-button control layout that Street Fighters fans know and love. The modern, so basically I'm going to say classic type would be considered as competitive mode, tournament mode. What traditional fighting game players are more used to. Another option is modern type. Perform special attacks easier, but with fewer attack buttons. And that would be a more simplistic version of classic type or tournament viable competitive type. The final option is going to be how they're saying dynamic. It's the simplest, and then you just basically hit light punch, light punch, light punch, and then you can perform an easy combo or do a special just from that. So let's pick modern. Yes, we'll try that out. Okay, it says, I see modern controls. It's a convenient mode that lets you unleash special moves without needing to remember difficult inputs. So this is great for people that are just starting to get into this. And they're just looking to get their feel in the game and see how things are going. Maybe they're trying to learn movement more than anything else, spacing, things like that. They're just starting to get into this. So here we go. Movement number 1 is going to be ground control. We're going to be working on walking. So pressing left and right on the pad or on the arcade stick will let you move in that direction. You can either walk forwards or backwards to start, walk over to where I am. So we're going to walk over to Ryu. And, we passed the first test there. Good. You've taken the first step towards becoming a fighter. Literally, right? Okay. Movement number 2, dashing. Tapping. Double forward on the pad or the arcade stick twice in the same direction performs a dash. Dashing lets you cover more ground than regular advancing or retreating. Try dashing to my location. So we're going to double back just to see what that looks like for loop, and then we're going to dash forward. Well done. Movement 3, jumping. Press up on the D-pad, controller, or arcade stick to perform a jump. You can jump straight up or to either side. Let's see how you do it. Okay, so we're going to jump forward. Good. Jumps are excellent for moving while avoiding opponent attacks, but don't get careless. Because if you jump around too much, it becomes predictable. Sooner or later, you'll get hit. Normals. Normal attacks. Alright. You know how to move. Now it's time to learn how to attack. We'll start off with normal attacks. You can perform attacks of different strengths depending on the button pressed. Press X, which is light punch, on the Xbox controller. If you're on the arcade stick, it's going to be the very first button on the top row to the left. And if you are on the PlayStation pad, it's going to be square. Oh, if you're on PC, it's going to be you. So it says, press any of those buttons to perform a light attack. These are weak but quick attacks. There is no need to hold back and try that out. And of course, you know, when we're talking more in depth about quick attacks, it means that the frames are more towards your advantage. So Luke is either going to have a 3-frame or a 4-frame light normal to hit. So here we go. And there we go. We got Ryu there with a light punch. Now, it says press A. That's interesting. So, I may have my control buttons on this a little bit different. So it says on here, press A to do a medium attack, which I would think it would be Y or B, but it says press A to perform a medium attack. For this test, it's going to be on the PlayStation controller X, or on the arcade stick. For this test, it's going to be on the lower level of buttons all the way to the left. The light kick button. Normally. Press A to perform a medium attack. These are well-balanced attacks that are easy to use. You'll understand best by trying them yourself. So remember, light. Oh, the specials are on those ones. That's why. Okay, very good. So this is the medium attack for the modern controls. Oh, an overhead too. Very good. Press B on the modern controls to perform a heavy attack. And B would be on the PlayStation controller. Circle on the arcade stick, it would be your more traditional light kick button. So, it says here, press B to... Oh, no, I'm sorry. For the heavy attack, right, no, on PlayStation it would be circle. Press B to perform the heavy attack. They leave you open to counterattack because it takes a lot of frames to perform them and leaves you more negative, but you can make it up for it by dealing good damage. Now give me your best shot. Okay, so here we go, and we're going to press light, medium, hard. Okay, light, medium, hard. Here we go. I could sense the strength in your attacks. Now pressing down on the D-pad or arcade stick will cause your character to crouch. Attack in this state will cause your character to assume a low profile while they perform crouching attacks. Now the interesting thing about crouching also is it can lower your hurt box on some characters. So if you know you have a character and you can actually make their hurt box maybe even go a little bit lower by maybe pressing what the medium kick would be. If somebody's trying to cross you up on a jump in, you might be able to get around that. So it says here, press down and try a crouching attack against Ryu. Finally, we have jumping attacks. Press up on the arcade stick or the controller to go airborne and then attack. Okay. So we got a cross up there. Those are the basic attacks, but don't forget them. Instead, devote yourself to tempering them. Blocking. Here we go. Now, let's give you the rundown on defense. Oops. The wrong thing. There it is. There are two types of blocking. Standing blocking and crouching blocking. And technically, with 6 and some previous versions of Street Fighter, they have also included parry system. So technically, if you have your timing right, you are able to perform the parries. And hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Just on
Getting cold feet?
Twitch. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're going through the testings here. Hey there, Super Gear. Yes, I do. I know how to play. We're going through the intro and everything just for right now. But we'll be there. So it says 2 types of blocking here. Standing blocking and crouching blocking. So what we're going to do is... see what Ryu wants to do. Press the controller, D-pad, or arcade stick in the opposite direction of your opponent while standing to perform a standing block. That means you're facing right. Press backwards, basically. Basically backwards of however your opponent's facing you. Try standing block on my attacks, okay. Boom. Okay. Nice, feels better than taking damage, doesn't it? Standing blocks can guard against any attack that aren't aimed at your feet. For attacks that standing blocks can't defend against, there are crouching blocks. When you're facing right, press diagonally down and left to block. Basically, you're going to press the opposite of where your opponent is, okay? So if he's in front of you, you're pressing backwards. If you think he's going to go for a low, you're going to press backwards down because that's where the damage is going to go. So press diagonally down left on the D-pad or the arcade stick to block. Let's see you use a crouching block now. So Ryu's going to wind up here and you're going to do a block. Good job there, you did it. Crouching blocks can't defend against overheads or jumping attacks, which that has to be a standing neutral block, but can deal with a lot of other attacks. A good defense starts with the crouching block. Throws! If you just can't break through your opponent's blocks, you can use throw to deal damage instead. At close range, press. Okay, on the Xbox controller, it's X and A at the same time for a normal throw. On the arcade stick, it would be light punch and light kick area, and on the PlayStation controller, it would be square and X, okay? And they're saying here on the computer it's going to be U and J. At the same time, for a normal throw, try getting close and throw at me. So for throws, getting close is going to be the key, because what happens is this. If you're too far away and you're going to do a throw, you're vulnerable. Because all of the action that it's going to take for you to do the throw is going to leave you unsafe, and Ryu's going to come in for big damage. So the scary thing about throws is that you have to get very close. Okay, you have to get very close and sort of sneak right up to them and just try to throw them. Success! If you think you're about to get thrown, answer back with a throw escape, which is pressing X plus A, or for PlayStation, it could be square and X. On PC, it could be U and J. And, whoop, I got it that time. And on arcade stick, it's going to be light punch and light kick. Basically, what you're doing is that instead of doing the throw, you are hitting the same buttons to counter his throw. Is what it is. Special moves. Pressing Y in the modern controls will give you a special move. If you're playing as Luke and just pressing Y, you will perform a sand blast. Give it a shot. On Y, on Xbox controller. On PlayStation, it'll be triangle, and on arcade stick, it'll be medium punch. So we're gonna try that. Okay, Sandblast is an effective attack to use from a distance. It's in Street Fighter V also. Next, instead of just Y by itself, press forward on your D-pad or arcade stick and press Y at the same time, and you'll get a different special move, the Rising Uppercut. So, they are adding multiple special moves compared to the direction that you are pressing at the moment. So if you're neutral and you press the medium punch, Y, or triangle, you're going to get the projectile. But if you press forward or backwards, if you press forwards, you're going to be getting the uppercut. Okay. So here we go. Boom. Rising Uppercut is an attack that's very effective against jumping opponents. You know that you can perform different attacks with the special move button Y. And we've been using Y for a lot of special moves so far. It's been mapped for a lot of them in these modern controls. Practice performing different specials by pressing that button along with, and they're basically saying the directional pad. Super Arts. Let's talk about Super Arts. Check out the Super Art gauge at the bottom of the screen. The Super Art gauge can be filled up to 3 levels as indicated by the number beside the gauge. If you have at least 1 level in the bar, you can perform a Super Art. Try performing a level 1 Super Art, which you may have already guessed uses 1 stock of Super Art gauge. Alright. A level 1 Super Art can be performed by pressing B and Y, which is medium punch or medium kick on the arcade stick, and on PlayStation controller, that's going to be triangle and circle. You have to hit these at the same time. No need to use a directional input. All you have to do for the modern controls is just press the buttons at the same time. So, we have a level 1. Okay, and there we go. Next up are level 2 Super Arts. Luke's level 2 Super Art has a short range, meaning you'll have to get close to the opponent if you want it to connect. So we are on level 2 here. The inputs are the same. That's going to be B plus Y on the Xbox controller. On PlayStation controller, it's triangle and circle. On arcade stick, it's going to be light kick and medium kick. So here we go. We're going to press them both at the same time. Let's see here. Oh, pressing B plus Y at the same time. That's it. Give it a shot. I think it's not. Hey there, thank you so much. What's up, what's up? Thank you so much. Angel fan, thank you, I appreciate it. Oops. Okay, that's one. By pressing B plus Y at the same time. Nope. We got one of the other ones there for a second. What was that? B plus Y at the same time. Give me 1 second. B plus Y. That's it. Okay. Okay, so we get the cinematic damage when you're at level 2 for the super art. Now for the big one, the level 3 super art. This is every fighter's trump card. As expected, it uses up all 3 stocks of the super art gauge. Press down as if you're crouching while pressing B plus Y on the Xbox controller. On PlayStation, it's going to be triangle and circle, and on the arcade stick, it's going to be medium punch and medium kick to perform your level 3 super art. So here we go. So we can see we've earned a level 3 on the bottom left of the screen here. We're going to press down and press B plus Y. We have another cinematic move, and that's going to do the most damage. So fantastic stuff. That hits hard. Remember that the super art gauge fills up whenever your attack hits, or if you are attacked. Never forget that you have something like this up your sleeve. Ooh, the drive gauge. Hey there! Hey Ben, what's up? How are you? Okay, so into the drive gauge here, and this is something that's new. Street Fighter 6 is a new game. There are 6 bars at the top of the screen. It's Street Fighter 6. So, it says here, the 6-bar display shown here is known as the drive gauge. This indicates a fighter's concentration and energy level. Utilizing this gauge lets you perform unique actions. For starters, we'll go over 2 basic uses of the drive gauge. First off is drive impact. Press LB to perform a powerful attack. Try it out. Okay, so drive impact. Let's take a look at this real quick. Now, the actual drive system itself with the drive gauge, according to Capcom, says the engine that powers the drive system is available as soon as the round begins because you start at maximum, allowing you to fight to your liking. If you spend your entire drive gauge, you will enter a burnout state with big disadvantages, but it also replenishes automatically. Meter management is a key to the fight. If you use all of your drive gauge and you are in the corner, number one, if you use all of your drive gauge, you're going to be at an automatic deficit, and I believe your opponent is more plus. So that's number one. Number two, if you're in the corner and they get a wall splat, as of right now, I think that they get a dizzy off of you. So you really want to watch how you're using the bars on the top of the screen underneath the life bar system. It says here, understanding the system in depth, including when to be conservative and when to gamble, allows for deep, high-level battles. So the first thing that we're going to look at is going to be the drive impact. And it says here, drive impact. To use drive impact, it's going to cost you 1 bar. A powerful strike that can absorb the opponent's incoming attack. Perform this on an opponent backed into the corner to induce the wall splat, even if they block the attack, because this thing has a windup. It's very noticeable and colorful. It has armor on it of 1 frame. Okay, but remember, you're spending to get this. It's reminiscent of Street Fighter 4's focus attack. To get this in the non-modern controls, for competitive controls, you're going to be hitting R1 plus R2, which is on the pad, which is basically the triggers on the pad on the right hand side, the shoulder trigger and the bottom trigger. On the arcade stick, I believe it is triple punch and triple kick. So remember, we're doing the modern controls, which is the simplified controls. On here, it's just on the keyboard, it's saying Y. On the pad, it's saying LB. So that, I believe that's left trigger. No, it's left shoulder. So here we go. Remember, first frame is invincible with armor. Here we go. Boom. Shoot, I should have moved them over to the wall. Okay, now you get a follow-up after that. Dang, I should have read that.
Hey now, where you going?
Okay, so that first hit, like I said, is going to absorb, but you're paying for that. It says, drive impact can absorb 2 attacks from the opponent, but there are some exceptions. When you're in trouble, use drive impact to break through an attack. But remember also, throws. Okay? So let's take a look here real quick.
Hey now, where you going?
Drive impacts have a unique characteristic. They can break a cornered opponent's block. You know, the interesting thing is, I have on here impact takes 1 bar, but... Or wait, it takes 2. On here it says it takes 1. Let's look just to see. Drive impacts have a unique characteristic look. They can break a cornered opponent's block. Try it out in a real fight. While I'm blocking near the end of the stage, press the left shoulder to perform a drive impact. And let's see. According to Capcom, it says it takes 1 bar. So let's just see. I'm just curious. Yeah, 1 bar. See how your opponent's defense just crumbles. And there's a big startup of that too. So you could try to, you could try to neutral jump. Whenever you have someone in defense in the corner, drive impact is a good option. Would we need to use competitive controls to play in tournaments? I think that competitive controls will be more used in tournaments. That's basically going to be the tournament legal standard is competitive control.
Getting cold feet?
When Mortal Kombat 11 came out, they had 2 modes. I think they called it combat mode and custom. And you could take your character and put a variety of special moves on that character. Some of those special moves, before balancing, would have been considered too strong in combinations on those characters. So that's why they had the competitive mode where you were locked into different layouts to pick for those characters, right? But it was locked. In this, I think that the modern controls, the easier controls, are to get people into the game, to feel like they can be a part of what's going on. I think it's great for kids that are trying to feel their way through everything. But in competition, I don't think it'll be viable for that. Yeah. Let's take a sip of water real quick. Okay. Next, I'll teach you about the drive parry. This is performed by pressing and holding down
Feeling nervous?
right trigger on Xbox and PlayStation controllers. On the arcade stick, I believe it's going to be hard punch for the modern controls. This is a powerful defensive tool. Try to defend against my attacks using a drive parry. Okay, so we're gonna dash back. Oh, he's still got the donkey kick. Okay, ready? Whoa, wait a second, that was the wrong dang button. I got the counter hit there. That's not the right one. I think I'm hitting the wrong button. Let's pick the shoulder. There you go. It's going to be the right shoulder on the pads. Drive parries. In competitive play on the PlayStation controller, it's going to be triangle and circle, or medium punch and medium kick on the arcade stick. If you're not on the arcade stick and you're on the Xbox pad, it's going to be Y plus B to do the parrying in here. Second there. Oh.
Feeling nervous?
Second. No. There it is. Got it. Gauge. Here it is. Now, according to Capcom, what it says is drive parry, automatically repel an opponent's attack and replenish drive when performed successfully. Perform a perfect parry by parrying just before the opponent hits you. So basically, your character is going to flash like a silver color, and you're going to parry, or essentially, it's like a special block the move. The longer you hold it down, the more it'll be easier, right? It'll absorb the hits to a certain extent. But the thing is that the longer you hold it, the more negative and risky it's going to be for you, and it's going to lead a longer recovery. So as you're doing that too, it will drain your gauge up at the top of the screen. And it can take 2 bars.
Getting cold feet?
Like by draining. Okay, so let's take a look here. Drive parries are effective against both standing and crouching attacks. A successful drive parry will replenish your drive gauge. When you're on your heels and don't know what to do, look at your drive parry. Okay, when drive parries are powerful, they can't defend. See, here he goes. And he's losing his gauge. As long as he's holding on, he's losing. As long as he's holding the buttons, he's losing it, right? But then the key is that you can throw. You can try to throw him out of it. In modern controls, I'm trying to remember what the throw is in modern controls here. There it is. So you can throw him out of the parry. A perfect parry will result is the result of performing a drive parry the moment an opponent attacks you. This is an invaluable tool for your counter-attack game. Practice and make it a part of your everyday arsenal. So, they have added perfect options into this game. There are perfect special moves, like a perfect sonic boom that, requires on the right timing of movement and when you press, your button. A perfect parry here, and when you do a perfect parry is what they're trying to say. It is less damaging to your bar system at the top there. Okay, it doesn't cost you nearly as much. So let's check that out there for a second. I thought we were gonna train that. Okay. Trading drive impacts. Drive impact is a powerful tool for any fighter, so when an opponent uses them, there is a good way of dealing them that you should remember. You can use a drive parry to defend against a drive impact. Try to defend against my drive impact with a drive parry. Now that's going to be the right shoulder button on PlayStation and Xbox controllers. On the arcade stick, it should be Fierce Punch, Hard Punch. So here we go. Okay. So right before it looks like he is going to make contact, he was booting up, and then he went in. That is when you want to hit your counter button, your parry button, right then. It's right before he hits you. If you've been cornered in a fight, you can bet your bottom dollar that your opponent will try to hit you with a drive impact.
Getting cold feet?
Now, mind you, that's still going to be a bar on their end for that. They have to spend for it, okay? That's when you need to predict their attempt and counter with the drive parry. Of course, a good defense is a good offense. So you can counter a drive impact with one of your own. The timing is harder than using a drive parry, but it can lead to some big damage. Okay, so remember guys, the drive impact is the one with all of the rainbow colors in it and everything. The drive parry is the one where you flash silver. Let's give you some practice now. React to my drive impact with one of your own. Drive impact is the left shoulder button on the controllers. On the arcade stick, it's going to be, I believe, heavy kick or the roundhouse button. So, okay, here we go. Ah, he tried to dash out of that. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Here is the key on drive impact. If your opponent is hitting drive impact and they hit it first, if you hit it second, they have locked in. They have spent their bar. They have confirmed to doing impact, okay? It's almost as if you saw your character do a full screen ultra and the person on the opposite side of the screen does a neutral jump and you still see your character running over to do the full screen ultra. You can't stop them. Once drive impact is activated, you're done. That's why if you respond to it by hitting impact second, then you can counter that and get the damage for yourself. Now, you're still going to take some gray health because of it, because of the armor, right? But it's still better for you to hit impact, or, you know, maybe you could try to neutral jump out of that and get out of the way, do a neutral jump combo. You could try to parry it also, but an easy way is to just respond, do a quick response by hitting drive impact second. If you sense it coming, you can also try to forward jump out of trouble. So basically, you're going to try to jump over Ryu's head, right? Burnout. Uh-oh. Whoop. Wait a second here. Oh, he's... Okay. Now, drive impact and drive parry are great uses of the drive gauge, but continuous use will drain the gauge. And if you drain it completely, you will be unable to use them for a period of time. Okay, so look at Ryu's gauge drive up underneath his life bar there. It's very low to going down to nothing, right? And that puts him into burnout. So that's a spot that you really don't want to be in. When your drive gauge is empty, you'll enter burnout. And if the opponent hits you with the drive impact with your cornered, you'll be stunned and unable to move at all. So we spoke about this a little bit earlier. It's a really bad position to be in. You never really want to be stuck in that kind of a spot. Almost even if you happen to use all of your gauge, I would stay in the center of the screen. So, it says, it's better to show you this in action. Hit me with drive impact while I am in burnout. So here we go. That is going to be the left shoulder button on the controllers, and on arcade stick it will be roundhouse or heavy kick. Whoop. So here he is. Bounces against the wall, gets dizzy. I was seeing stars there for a moment. While a fighter is in burnout, they can still be stunned, even if they block a drive impact. Remember, it's a crush. It's a crush and crumple. It's still going to get you because you're in that burnout state. It's basically them saying, look, you know, you went through your drive way too fast. This is the risk you have to take now.
Feeling nervous?
They can still be stunned even if they block a drive impact. Remember, chasing someone into the corner gives you more chances to attack. In any fighting game, being in the corner really reduces your chances of winning the round. It's difficult to play in the corner, but you can try to stay as clutch as you can with corner play, but if the person that you're playing against keeps up with corner pressure, it's easier for them to open you up than it would be if you're moving freely in the stage. And jumping out is just a nightmare. So you might as well just try your best to work your way out of the corner at all times, especially in this game. Battle end conditions. Now let's go over the rules of engagement. The gauge at the top of the screen displays your vitality, so that's the life bar. On the left is player 1. Your vitality on the right is player 2. That's mine. And of course that is for this training session, right? If you are playing in the battle hub, you could easily be on the left side or the right side. You could be blue or red at any time. So this is just for this training purpose here. Get hit with an attack and your vitality will drop. When it reaches 0, that is a knockout. Rounds have time limits, and if no one scores a knockout within the time limit, the round ends. Don't forget, if you're playing someone that's playing keep away, someone that's turtling, wasting the clock, zoning you out, you're not just playing against them, you're playing against the clock itself. You're playing against the timer. And if they are good enough at keeping you out and slowing down the game, not only are they beating you, but it's the timer that is. So that's one thing you always have to keep an eye on. Rounds have time limits. If no one scores a knockout within the time limit, the round ends.
Time over.
If the round ends with no one scoring a knockout,
Too easy.
the fighter with the most vitality basically gets the round, right? Each fight has a number of rounds, and whoever reaches the required round for victories is the winner of the entire fight. So, traditional Street Fighter competition. I was just going to say fighting game, but then I just remembered some 3D games have three rounds.
Cold feet?
Street Fighter traditionally has 2, But if you're tied 1-1, then the third round will, verify who the winner is. So, each fight has a set number of rounds. Whoever reaches the required round victories first is the winner of that entire fight. Now let's put what I've taught you to the test. This is a practice fight, but give it everything you got. Okay.
I'm too good.
Good fight. If you're aiming for the top, in the fighting grounds, you will find a tutorial. Use this to learn various and more powerful techniques. Don't be hasty. Take your time and get stronger little by little. Go at your own pace. So that was the modern controls right there. Alright, so that was very exciting. I'm gonna grab a drink. I'm gonna grab a drink real quick. What do you guys think about all of this? It's very exciting. I like how they broke everything down for the modern controls, to make it a little, make it a little easier, but at the same time it was well broken down. They did a good job at describing everything people needed to do to try to pick up how to do things the more easier way.